Got Lamont joining here. Fantastic. Welcome
Oh
back,
yeah,
Lamont.
well, I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it. I had to do some reconfiguring of some things, and think I'm ready to go now.
All
Hopefully,
right.
keep my fingers crossed.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. So, welcome to another episode of Caps and Conversations. My name is Bob Gonzalez. I'm your web design strategist.
And I'm Lamont Braithwaite, your metric specialist. Now, in order
Yeah.
to just let see, I was going to do a nice little simple intro, like you know, the world is good. Happy birthday to me, stuff like that. But now I have to, lay it on
It's your
thick.
birthday? It's your
Yeah,
birthday?
it's my birthday. It's my birthday,
Today?
man.
Oh man.
Today.
Thanks for coming in
Today.
on what's supposedly supposed to be your day off, but thanks for showing up.
Well, business owners don't really get a day off until, they reach the millions or the wealth side of the house. Not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. And on top of that, I know metrics will get you there. So if you ever need metrics in your business, see how I slide that in
Good segue,
there.
good segue.
if you ever need metrics for your business, I'm your guy.
Perfect. Perfect.
So
All right, everybody. So, thank you very much for that, Lamont. Today, we are excited to welcome Marla Ballard. She's CEO of Y2 Shine and director of the Unconquerable Me program. With over 30 years of leadership experience, Marla has helped countless individuals achieve abundance, success, and personal fulfillment. She's a top producer and trainer, a business founder, and a leader in quantum personal development, guiding others to unlock their potential and live authentically. Her mission: to empower people worldwide to thrive, because a rising tide lifts all boats. Let's give a warm welcome to Marla Ballard.
Hey guys.
Hello, hello.
welcome back.
Hello.
Hey,
Happy
hey.
birthday.
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling like a 90-year-old man, but I'm stuck in this 26-year-old body.
I was going to say, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I,
I get
I
you.
I I wish I can claim that, but the inside is a little bit rough right now. So, but I'm still alive, so I'm feeling blessed. So the world
well,
is good.
well, I feel honored you're sharing your birthday with me. Thank you. And Bob, good to see
Oh,
you too.
no
You
problem.
Always
guys
a
are
No
so
pleasure to see you,
problem.
great.
Marla. Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here with us today on Saturday. So how's your week been? What's been going on?
Oh, it's been an amazing week. We've had a lot of really cool things happening. I got a chance this week to be on a guest on another radio program called the Real Power Family Radio Show.
Ooh.
Okay.
That was very cool. So really have enjoyed that this week. And then working with our team, and we're getting a lot of things up and running. I've got a new program I'm working on to launch by the end of April, and you just and as do a
Uh
lot
oh.
of our coaches.
Is
And
that my
so
internet?
it's
Oh,
been incredibly busy and fun. Lots of neat things coming out.
That's great. That's
oh,
great.
that's
So
Thank you.
wonderful.
we
Wonderful.
understand that since we've had our interaction together, you are the CEO of YU to Shine.
Yep.
If you don't mind, please, the title doesn't really say it all. So could you like dive in a little bit deeper and give us more insight on that?
Sure. So You to Shine is we've actually been named by Forbes magazine as a pioneer in quantum personal development. And so with that, essentially what we're working with, everybody's familiar with personal development. With
Hmm.
quantum personal development, we're also working with not only mindset, but with really the heart through spirituality and physics, and then its actual practical application of those things. So we work a lot with energy, as well as really understanding that from where we sit, you can have mind over matter,
Hmm.
right? And that would be your mindset running everything. But when you add in love over mind over matter, everything shifts.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So how is the platform treated? Like how is it that you welcome your clients to come on board?
Well, uh, our we are still developing our website, but we've got a whole we've been working really hard on that recently. We got some feedback that because we have 17 coaches and a lot of different services now offered, we've created where when you go to our youtashine.com website, you can look for exactly what it is that you're interested in working on, because everybody has different things going on, and it
Hmm.
will actually map out the journey for you of the different resources we have, as well as helping you find the most aligned coach.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it's really tailored to each individual based off of their needs.
Everything is tailored to each individual. We want, one of the most important things for all of us, and what our mission and vision is for each individual to get to be the light they came here to be.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so, in order to do that, we have to take a very individualized approach with everybody, because, as you know, not everybody wants the same things. Not everybody has the same goals in life. But we're all so uniquely gifted and talented. And we all have so many different life experiences that form us for who we really came here to be. And so our goal is to help people really tune into that, and really tune into their purpose, and be the uniqueness they came to be in the world. Because if everybody were to do that, then we all work together, contributing so much value. It's just incredible.
Now, I had the privilege of stopping by your Facebook page, and I got to see one of the recordings you had posted on there where you are from Kentucky.
I am.
And
Owensboro, Kentucky, in fact.
and you were originally set out to be an incredible Dr. Pole, per se.
An incredible what?
Dr. Pole?
Dr. Pole.
No. So he's like this veterinarian for like all sorts of like animals
Oh,
and
I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah, yeah. No, it's incredible. He has like, special on like Nat Geo and it's
Oh,
incredible
okay.
the things. Yeah, so I'm really curious to know like the shift from, farm life to, helping out individuals succeed.
Oh, thank you. Well, that, yeah, there is a story there. It's probably a long one.
By all
But yeah,
means.
I grew up on a farm, and I really, really, just I love being outdoors. I never saw myself being a desk person. And so, when I went to University of Kentucky, I chose equine science as my major there, which was an easy fit. I mean, you're right in the heart of Lexington, Kentucky, of the racehorse world. And as I was in classes there, I worked with a veterinary clinic, a very big equine veterinary clinic, and eventually got a lot of different jobs working for sales for the Keeneland and Fasig-Tipton sales, where they sell the really nice racehorses for a
Hmm.
lot of different outfits. And before I graduated, I was offered some really good jobs. And so I became the business manager of a racehorse farm. We had about 250 head of horses at that time. But the background with that, though, was always in my interest, which really was about a lot about nutrition, exercise physiology, right, and reproductive physiology. So understanding how the body works, because when you're working with a racehorse, it's no different than working with an athlete. You want to really build a good foundation for health and vitality, uh, to get the most out of performance. And so that's what I was doing when I met my husband, who was an army guy. And you know, the cool thing, and I know I can say this with Lamont too, because I believe you served, didn't you?
I was a contractor, so I was on the other
Okay.
side of it. Yeah,
Okay. So
but
but you've worked with a lot of military guys.
hand in hand, I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. So it was a really neat thing, because I loved what I did. Like I honestly will say I think I got to do one of the coolest jobs ever, right? To
Hmm.
be in that industry and experience all of that. Um, But for Chris, serving his country was really a calling in a way that I had never experienced anything. So it was pretty easy to get me to leave that and go with him. The thing is, there's just not a lot of places where the Army goes. that would have somebody that needed what I did, because that was very specialized, right? It was very specialized. And so about a year after we got married, he deployed, and about 4 months into his tour, he was in a roadside bomb explosion. So that really changed everything. And through that, we ended up moving to the DC area so that he could serve at Fort Myer at the ceremonial unit at Arlington, because that was where they sent infantry guys to get him off the front line. And that's where he came while he was processing through his medical board. And so now, I've got immense fear, right? We're trying to figure out how we're going to help him heal and put his body back together. And we're really facing a lot of loss of income and a lot of big changes. And I'm in the biggest city I've ever been in.
Right, right.
So I was trying to figure it out. So I ended up starting a wellness company selling nutritional products and wellness products to doctors' offices. And through that, all that I had learned about all of the science with all of that was so applicable and so aligned. And it really gave me an opportunity to connect with a lot of high-end medical professionals all over the country and even around the world. It gave me an opportunity for us to make sure that Chris had really high quality supplements and amazing things to take care of his body. And very quickly, again, I can honestly say, and I think a lot of people in business can identify with this, I was driven initially by pure fear, sheer fear. Okay. Like it was like, we have to make this work no matter what.
Yeah.
So I very quickly became a top worldwide producer and started they had me doing a lot of training and development for the overarching company on their international stage, and a lot of things with that. I also started trying to figure out, learning how to network. I had no idea how to network with business people. And in the process of doing that, got invited by some other people. We started several networking groups around the DC region. And I worked with BNI. I loved them. I also became a regional trainer and did a lot to work with different emerging networking chapters, helping them get started or helping them train and have a lot of people learn. So I did all of that for 10 years. And in that time, I sat on multiple boards of directors and all kinds of things. And along the way, because it was always my passion to see people succeed in business. Like, I love entrepreneurs so much, guys. and I do so much because I know what it was for me to start and to have that fear and to have that need and that drive. And so I love that spirit. I love the entrepreneurial spirit, right? And I admire it so much. And so along the way, I was just always delighted to be able to teach anybody, help anybody any way I could in their business. Did a lot of referring out to other business owners for all the things I didn't do. I love doing that. I was passionate about that. And I'm passionate about working with veterans. And so in that, because I was helping a lot of people, I had about 3 years that people were asking me to go into coaching and consulting as a business. I was just a little scared to leave what I was doing because I knew that.
Yeah.
And so in 2015, I actually met Victoria Rader, who's the founder of You to Shine, and she's phenomenal. Met her in 2015, and I was asking her to become my business coach at that point because I was trying so hard to figure so many things out. I thought that I wanted to stay with what I was doing and elevate my performance. I'd been like a top 20 in the world, but I wanted to be number one, kind of competitive.
You know what? That's the tenacity you need to have, because there's a lot of people that say, okay, I only want to go but so far. But so far for some people is not the top. You're aiming for the top. And there's building blocks that you have stumbled upon or have worked on. Can you tell me a little bit more about how, you know, you transition from, kind of like the workforce into, saying, okay, I really want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the skills that you picked up along the way, if I can ask that?
Well, I can tell you my people skills got significantly better because they had to out of necessity.
Right.
Chris and I joke all the time. I always tease that he was actually the stable and civilized one, you know. And people laugh when I say that about an infantry guy, right? Like, but racehorses was not. It wasn't the most polished world to work in, being around barns and tracks and things like that, right? So, and so that was a big one. I really had to learn. um I've always been very direct, which is a good quality to have, right? It's good to be direct and transparent, and that's one of the foundational principles we have with our team at You to Shine. We ask everybody to be completely transparent all the time, so that's important. But there's a way to be direct, and then there's a way to have people skills and be direct.
Yes, yes, absolutely. They definitely go hand in hand. You can't be like, a total ass about anything. You
You
have to,
can't,
Yeah.
you can't,
yeah,
and I
yeah, you
was.
got,
I had to
yeah.
really learn.
but
Well,
different strokes for different folks, because some people still do that yet today, and then they're like, okay, well, I'm going to bully my way into this industry, and if they don't like me, they don't like me, and the ones who do like me are just like me. But I can't do it that way, because I tried that,
Hmm.
but my heart is too soft to do that. I can't really,
Yeah.
you know, brute force my way into things. And I've taken the long route,
Hmm.
and it's taken some time. And a lot of people saying, well, if you don't get it in X amount of time, then maybe you're just flying blind, or maybe you should just
Yeah.
quit, or maybe you should just. So support is another thing. How is your support group? Because we always talk about this, like, going into entrepreneurship, you're alone. You
Hmm.
know, and if you don't
Yeah.
have the right kind of support, maybe 2, 3 months, 2, 3 years down the road, it's all for nothing. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about your support?
I did, definitely, and I will tell you, I had a lot of support. I don't believe anybody does this alone. A lot of the support came from the friendships that I made by starting those different groups and participating. And then I got a lot of support. I was very lucky. The company that we sold the supplements for, the founders of that company really took me under their wing
Hmm.
and mentored me for 10 years. So I had enormous support from them. But they were in Dallas, Texas. And so I was flying out every month to go to the offices there for training and work with them. But back here in Virginia, the friends that I made through networking and other business owners, we started a networking group when we were all starting our businesses. And so we leaned into each other a lot. We leaned into each other and talked about a lot of problems, a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges. I took a lot of personal development training during that time. Um, went to a lot of seminars, read a lot of books, right? And but it was. I will say this though, I had to become what I wanted in other people,
very
right?
cool.
One
Very
one
cool.
of the things that I've been very fortunate for is that at this point, people will make time for me if I ask them to. But, Vika pointed out to me once a long time ago when she was coaching me, she said, people make time for you because you make time for people. So a lot of this support comes too when we're willing to give it. And I wanted to help everybody because I knew how hard it was for me. And so I think in doing that, I had a lot of people who then wanted to help me too. So it's a
That's
two-way
great.
street. And we can say we want to manifest all these things, but the missing piece a lot of time is that we also have to be willing to become it.
Exactly,
Very
exactly, and
true.
that's big for me as well. Go ahead, Bob.
Mhm.
I thought you was going to ask a
No,
question there.
yeah. Well,
Sorry
first
to
of all,
butt
I
in.
really no, no, no. What are you talking about? I really want to like take a second to thank Chris for his services.
Thank
That's
you.
it's a huge
Yeah,
thing. I always like you have to recognize that freedom is not free.
Yeah.
We see it every day that people put their lives on the line
Mhm.
just for us to live the life that we do.
the simple
Um,
Thank
freedoms
you.
that we do. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
I'll tell him.
Um, so how is it that like okay, so several weeks ago we had Dwayne Morton. How familiar are you with him? Because I think that it's like small world kind
Yeah.
of a
Yeah.
kind of thing here because it's like we are a small show. Like we're not huge by any means.
Mhm.
Captain Conversations is
Not
only
yet, but the metrics
not
will
yet.
get us there.
That's right.
uh, we're only like 2 seasons in,
Mhm.
20 episodes each season, more or less. And how did you come about meeting Dwayne? Was he like one of the clients for you to shine?
So actually, Victoria Rader, our founder, had gone on a podcast that Dwayne was on, and
Hmm.
he just everything about her resonated with him, and so he contacted her, and has and so that's how we met. He came and met
Okay.
our team on a Zoom meeting,
Cool.
and he's been an amazing person to be in contact with. Yeah. So and
Yeah, that's amazing.
then I think that was like a couple weeks before he was coming on your guys's podcast, and he invited us. And so I came and listened to you, and I just loved it. I loved what you guys were up to. Again, an entrepreneurial spirit. I love what you're doing. I love what you're creating to help other business owners. And so it was a natural fit to want to reach out and meet you guys.
Listen, I have a more like I'm really going all no holds barred here. Okay, I
Okay.
want to get into the nitty gritty of this,
All right.
because what I saw, what you posted on your Facebook page, it really got me because since we've met, I see nothing but like rays of sunshine and rainbows and flowers everywhere and butterflies, and it's like that's your personality, like that's your extreme.
Okay, I'm
To
glad
be
you think
completely
that.
honest, to be completely honest. But then when I'm looking at what you recorded on Facebook, where you dealt with being alone or feeling lonely, even in a
Mm,
crowd, of people,
yeah.
that that struck me like what could have gone wrong? What could have happened to you during your adolescence?
Well, a lot.
I can imagine.
But isn't that by definition adolescence? I don't
It's the exact definition.
Well, I mean, everybody has a trying time or so. Like I know that I've
know.
had
Yeah.
things that have happened to me, my brother,
Mhm.
that we don't really look at as the norm, right?
Yeah.
It's not mommy and daddy, it's not, kids, a dog,
Yeah.
cat, and a white picket fence. It's
Right.
things happened in my life, but
Yeah. Same here.
I'm curious to know, like, because like to have that type of mind shift, like
Hmm.
from what happened to you while you were growing up to where you're at
Yeah.
today,
Hmm.
it takes more than just courage and tenacity. It's you have to really dig deep down for that.
You do.
So where
And
did it
and
come
I
from?
I will tell you, it's interesting. You're actually one of the first people that's asked me this directly. So thank you and give me a minute to pause.
Oh,
So
no problem. Take your
I
time.
I did I did live through a really awful situation in my late teens and early 20s that went on for a long time. And it's really interesting. Our chief marketing officer, Phil, asked me actually last week. He said, "What are you the most proudest of?" And the answer is so instant for me. The thing that I can tell you is I remember coming out of that. And so it was in my early 20s. And I saw so many people, in my mind, particularly at that time, women, hitting middle age and becoming so bitter and angry and unhappy. And I remember thinking at that point, I've got a choice here. I can either allow that to be my destiny if I sit with all this awful forever and feed that, or I can choose that I'm going to allow it to be what it was, but I'm going to go on and beat it by being happy. And so what I consistently chose was love. I was determined to learn how to love. And that has informed every decision since. The hard part for me in the development part, what and I think for all of us was not learning how to give love. It has been learning how to receive it
Yeah. Exactly.
and having the self worth to do so. And so, and on that, I can tell you, I'm still learning.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's
That's awesome.
love is a lifelong lesson of you know ups and downs, and people experience love in different kind of ways, and
Mhm.
people say, the heck with love, I don't need love. But love is the catalyst to a lot of things that can open up doors for you.
Mhm.
um, and I try to instill that in my kids as well, because it's that the love that they have is unconditional, is pure love. And some way, somehow, some shape or form, when you grow up, you start growing out of it, and then you start detaching from it.
Yeah.
um, I had a problem with that early on as well, because I grew up without a mom. My mom died before I turned 6 months old. Never knew my dad. Grew up with grandparents, and that was all the love that I had. And even though I today is my birthday and I grew up 50 years ago,
Mhm.
it was a different time than it was now. And
Yeah.
I tried to instill in my kids, try love first. When in doubt, try love first, and if it doesn't work, then you can move on from there. So I can resonate with what you got going on, because I choose love first. And some say I might be a little naive, even at my age,
Mhm.
to step out on faith, or the love part of it. And it could slow me down, but I don't see it doing anything like that, because the more contact of people the more people I come in contact with, they can pick up on it,
Yeah.
and they can sense the genuinity or the authenticity of you. And I've been getting that a lot lately, and I'll be like, you know what, I might be awesome,
Mhm.
you know, what, I might be onto something. And but this wasn't for years to come, because before that I was an introvert. I'm still
Yeah.
a little bit of an introvert, and I'm still afraid to get out there every now and then. But a little bit by a little bit, I try. So
Mhm.
I commend you on opening up to the love aspect of your life, and you're gonna go leaps grow by leaps and bounds. I know it. We're
Thank you.
with you, and of course, we're gonna visit you down the road sometime and just see, hey, Marla, what's going on? It's
Well, I
10
hope
years from
so.
now, and now you're the CEO of this company, and now
Yeah.
you're making stuff that I never thought was possible. But now I can see that genuine people making genuine things, and you're
Mhm.
one of them.
Thank you.
So hats off, pat on the back for that. And I don't know, I didn't have no plan to stretch this statement out, but I'm pretty glad of some of the people that we come in contact with, that we
Mhm.
meet, because it's all showing genuinity, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Thank
we've
you
This
had
is
for
not
that.
the end of the show, by the way, but I have to, you know.
Thank you for that.
we've had
Yeah.
several people on, and it's it all goes back to authenticity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I know it's one of the things that you promote, because when, especially when you're on the online space, you are vulnerable to the whole world who
Yeah.
is watching you and seeing you. um but I gotta tell you, look, and I'm no way hitting on you, okay? I love the sound.
I understand.
I
Thank you.
love the sound of your voice. I love the
Oh,
sound of your voice. Like,
thank you.
I want to know, why aren't you posting more and recording more out? Because it's like your voice is soothing. Like,
Oh, wow.
it's like smooth jazz. Like, it's so nice and comforting, and you're so like relaxed around the mic. Like, are you gonna be posting more on your Facebook page?
Thank you for saying that. I'm working on it. Yeah. And I can tell you that has been one of my struggles. It's been it's been a consistent fear for me, right? Is feeling exposed. And so I so appreciate you saying that. I'm gonna really receive that, and take the value that you're giving to me right now for that. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem.
Um,
No, it's like we know like a lot of like entrepreneurs and people that are, stepping out into the affiliate marketing field, and making their own like Instagram shorts, and putting their own
mhm.
ads
Hmm.
out there as themselves. The number one fear that they are to overcome is putting themselves out there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, and,
And the
and it's
only
me
thing that
too.
I could
Hmm.
the only thing that I could recommend for them is like, just go in a room,
You
sit in
just
front
got
of
to
your
do it.
phone, and just
Yeah.
practice. Practice.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's all. That's all
just
it
do like
takes.
the hat said.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Just do it.
Yeah,
You know?
you just got to do it. And so, no, I actually am working on an entire program right now. And so, yes, I am getting out there more and more. Podcasts like with you guys, I'm
Hmm.
learning.
Hmm.
And it is, and that is the other thing. Even being interviewed is a skill set to develop, right? It really
Yeah,
is.
Yes.
it is.
And so yeah, so that's one of the commitments I made this year, is to be a lot more visible, also because I really want to help our team, right? And I'm not going to help
Hmm.
it in a way. For me, it's easier for me to have that I'm not just doing it for me, I'm doing it to help the team, because then I'll get out of
Right.
my own way better. I mean, it's
Right.
just the truth of it.
Yeah.
But I want us to have a lot of exposure. We have amazing coaches and amazing programs, and so it's important to me. But if you're asking me why you haven't seen more, yeah, that's why. I'm getting there.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
coming.
I'm
It's gonna
working
be
through
like,
it.
oh, here I am, and then it's gonna be a flood, and then you're gonna be like,
Yeah.
wow, see, I mean, I did the same thing. I crept out there and not knowing what to expect, and I tried one thing, and then I seen something started to work, so I said, you know what, maybe if I try to be more consistent at it, maybe I'll get better at it
That's
over
it.
time, or certain things start to change. But now I'm seeing everybody's coming out the woodworks now. Everybody's
Yeah,
just, it doesn't matter if it's planned or not, and the thing is, you just have to start.
you do.
It doesn't matter where you are, just start. You never know where you're going to be if you don't start. So
That's it.
it's one of my biggest fears that I've ever had, as far as putting my right foot in front of my left. And I wasted years just being scared of, I would hide behind a keyboard and just text some things and be like, okay, well, let's see
Yep,
what happens. And then, 24, 48 hours later, crickets. And then I'm like, yeah, well, this don't work. But I
that's it.
wasn't consistent enough. And now
Mhm.
video is taking over everything. People will watch a video before they read a text, you
Oh,
know?
Yep.
for sure. For sure.
So,
Wow.
so,
And see, that
so,
goes to show
so,
you right there that like a majority of people are the ones that like
yeah,
to read books with pictures in it,
Hmm.
and
yeah,
instead of like using their imagination to see, what the text can actually lead to. I'm
Gotcha.
a
yeah.
firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I got the micro. I'm into micro learning, and I got the Headway app. So I grown bored, or not really bored. If it's a really catchy book, then I'll buy the book. But if I can read the summary of a book and learn what it's about, and it intrigues me, yeah, okay, I get the book.
Hmm.
But I'm into that micro learning because I can learn faster that way. Now everybody has a unique learning point. People are visual. People like to hear audio, or people like to read text. You know, I'm not the text reader. I'm more of a visual learner. But if I got an audio, I can just walk around and be like, I'm going to take a walk today, and I can read a
Hmm.
30-minute audio of a book, and I feel so knowledgeable after just listening to it. I'm like, you know what? Let me try this and see if it works. So micro learning is the way to go. That's one of the things I picked up, and I want to pass on to everybody, that whether you're in the audience or whether you're a guest, get into micro learning. I don't know if you have that in your business, but I'm sorry I didn't catch that invite on time. My inboxes or my Facebook has been flooded, and I have 400 some odd messages I haven't gotten to. But I will get into that group because it's something that I'm intrigued with, because I want to see what's behind the curtains. Because
Are
I'm
you talking
nosy.
about our free me group?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get in
That
there.
Yeah, that is amazing. We actually started that this year on Veterans Day.
Hmm.
One of the healing techniques that we use as a company that our coaches are trained in is called Free Me EFT, which is absolutely amazing for helping people to eliminate limiting beliefs, and even helps heal trauma and all kinds of fantastic things. And so, when we started that group, what we were really looking at was in November, we were looking at going into the holidays, and that's when so many people do feel very alone, right? And
Exactly.
so, Bob, when you're talking about that, you saw the video on loneliness that I did. I actually did that on Thanksgiving Day
I noticed.
because
Yes. Yes.
we knew that going into the holiday season, is when most people experience that. And it's interesting, a lot of times you can be surrounded by people and still feel
Yeah.
very alone. And so that was what we were seeking to do, was create a space where people can come into that Facebook group and feel like they can connect. And so that's why you're going to see a lot of different videos in there from our coaches working on different amazing things and giving tips and
Right.
techniques. We've got a lot in there about gratitude, because I think gratitude is one of the most healing things you can do, truly.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
Going back to Bob, you asked me about, what I lived through. I can remember that at that point in time, I had read an article. I don't know, it was in some fashion magazine. I don't remember the magazine, but it was talking about gratitude and utilizing gratitude to shift your perspective and your perception. And I remember the thing was that it left you with was to try to think of 10 things a day and write them down that you were grateful for. So I actually started that practice way back then. And at the time, I was still in a pretty rough situation at the time. But I remember literally writing some nights that I had paper and I had a pen that had ink in it, and I had a lamp that would light, right? And those were my first three. I mean, it was pretty basic. But over time, I do think that shifted things, because we know now. I've read a lot of articles. I think even Psychology Today has come out with articles how the two things that can actually change your neural pathways of how you think are love and gratitude, which is really amazing. And so that group, when you go there, you'll see our coaches helping people work through things like having a sense of belonging, being able to be fully present, helping to heal loneliness, and you also see a lot of gratitude practice in there.
Yeah, and I
That's
practice
awesome.
that daily as well because I've
Mhm.
seen the changes from. I was on a depressed road. I want to say about a year ago, year and a half ago, and it trickled down from a lot of things that was just pounding down. And one of my best ways that I can tell somebody that I got out of it is I started journaling, and it
Mhm.
was I kept account of a gratitude journal, and I would, just like you said, I would name 10 things that I'm grateful for when I got up, and before I went to bed, I would write down 10 things that I was grateful for during that day, and it opened me up to you know some other kind of pathways. I don't know if it's neural
Yeah.
pathways. I haven't really looked into it, but it's one of those things where I took myself out of my own way because
Mhm.
most of the stuff that I was getting at, I was just putting myself in the mix of everything. I was attaching my emotions to everything and everybody and every other thing that had nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But I would feel that, and I would take it all on my back and say, "Okay, I got this," till I didn't have it anymore. You know,
Mhm.
so that's one of the best things I'm looking forward to as far as opening up, not just in the network, but for myself because it's some kind of personal development that I see works. So
Yeah.
if you have that in your group, I will dive into that because that's one of the best things that I've come across in a long time. So
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
count me
speaking
in.
of which, that's something that I definitely have to get into.
Yeah,
I've got
you do.
years of stuff just piled on, and recognizing that, I guess, is the first step, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I've never
yeah,
really reached out to anybody. I've never, sat down in front of a psychiatrist or psychologist, or tried
yeah.
to have, like, my emotions analyzed or anything like that. At least not in my adulthood. When I was a kid, though, my
You
mom
got to
put me on
try
those
it, man. You
places.
got to try it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
got to
wasn't
try
too
it, man.
crazy about that.
Mhm.
It works wonders, though.
No, no, I
Well,
bet, I bet.
Well, it's really cool. There is a universal law of abundance, which basically says everything is abundant, right? The universe is truly abundant.
Yeah,
If you
Hmm.
look at even your garden, it's abundant. It's just a matter of whether or not you're growing fruits and flowers or weeds, but it's abundant,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so, and so, and a lot of people, a lot of times we don't realize that it's not that we're not abundant. It's just whether or not we are perceiving that we have an abundance of problems or an abundance of what we want. And when you practice gratitude, you start to really tune in to the things that are going well, so you're tuning into the abundance that you want, and through gratitude of really feeling it, like really feeling it, um, you're aligning yourself to that. So that's the first step in creating and receiving more of what you want. And like you said, Lamont, it's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah, and it's I haven't really identified. We can talk about this forever, but we only got an hour show. But this is I've started to align myself with different frequencies and vibrations and stuff like that I had no clue about.
Yeah,
And as a collective, and once I started vibrating on a higher frequency, I've noticed a lot of changes. One, I can't really talk to some of my friends and family about, because they're going to look at me like, hey man, uh what are you
Yeah.
on? I'm
yeah.
like, no, I'm not on anything. I'm just writing on lines of paper. And
Mhm.
I've met somebody online that got me into journaling, and it worked, because now I can't stop. I write about stuff that might not make no sense to nobody else, but it makes perfect sense to me.
That's awesome.
And when I try to revisit, like whatever I write down today, for tomorrow, I'll go back and read what I wrote yesterday,
Mhm.
and then I'll write today and just add on to it, so I still keep that vibration high. So it's a wonderful thing for you to get into, Bob. And if you haven't tried it, I'm gonna send you some paper and a pen, and I'm gonna tell you, just look,
I've
just
got
write what's on your
um,
mind, but be thankful
I've
for it.
got paper
You
and
know?
Yeah,
pen.
yeah,
I just have to get into the practice of doing it, and I'm actually going to
Yeah, well,
commit to both of you and myself that I'm going to start practicing that tonight.
amazing,
Right
amazing.
before bed, I'm going to sit down and write out 10 things that happened throughout my day that I am eternally
yeah,
grateful for, and start seeing, where that leads. I might even open up a second journal to kind of like document how that progress has
yeah,
been going.
That's
yeah. Do that.
awesome. That's
Do
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's give it up to Marla, ladies and gentlemen. She's transforming
Yes.
lives already, and she's only been on here for 30 minutes.
I love it. And doing it before bed is amazing too, because people don't realize this, but we also we preset our mind before we sleep.
Yes.
If you go to sleep worried about stuff, then that's what you're gonna have your mind
Yeah.
in. If you go to sleep feeling grateful, or loved, or thinking
Yeah.
about something through joy that you want to create, or a happy experience, you actually will have that then become. So that's an
Yeah.
amazing. I love that you're going to do that, Bob. That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
But,
like one of the things that I've told, I've said countless times on this show is that, the power of putting, a pencil or pen to paper
Yeah.
is astronomical.
it is. I agree.
Because in this space, when people are trying to get out there and start their
Yeah.
whole thing, you know, they think that just by having the idea
Hmm.
and
No.
going with that, is going to take them somewhere. And it's like, hold your
No.
horses, man. You have to write it down.
Yeah.
Whatever your idea is, write it down, plan it out. It's like making, separating a day, dedicating 2 hours to just making content. Write it down.
Yeah.
Write it
Hmm.
down.
Yeah.
And then you have now begun your path to actually start something.
That's it.
Because we've seen it, like, countless times, people that just try to go off of the whim of the idea, and within, like, 4 or 5 months time, they're throwing in the towel and saying
Hmm.
it didn't
Yeah.
work or whatever happened, and they're always finding something else to blame instead of themselves, to look in the mirror and be like, man, I really should have written something down. I should have had a plan in
Yeah.
place. I should
Yeah.
have. And it all stems
One
from that.
one of the best pieces of advice I can give anybody is, like, there's power in visualization. Now, most of you
Huge.
know me, as in my audience, as I'm a coach also in football, and I teach my guys this too, because sometimes you can't see what's going on, but if you can vision it in your head, and then sometimes it's just like a movie reel, and you
Hmm.
can play it out, and it'll happen, such and such will happen at a certain point in the game, and then you'd be like, I really thought it was going to happen like this. Is because
Yeah.
the visualization is very powerful. um I'm not going to drag this out too much, because there's a lot to be told. This is a whole story in itself.
Hmm.
But if you could tell anybody, Marla, give them one piece of good advice, what would that be
You
on
matter.
anything, whether it's life or whether it's business?
Yeah.
What kind of advice could you give one person that could help them, get to the next level?
To me, I think one of the most important things for all of us is to realize that we matter and that everything we've been through matters, you know? Um, and when it applies to gratitude, we don't need to be grateful for the really crappy stuff that happened. We don't.
Right.
But we can be grateful for what we learned or who we became through it. And through
That's awesome.
that, when you look at it through that lens, you really do start to realize everything you've ever been through matters, right? And so I know for me, Bobby asked me about some of the trauma. I don't think I had I grown up perfectly with a silver spoon in my mouth and no difficulty, there's no way I could connect with people with compassion or empathy or caring like I can because of the things I have experienced, right? And so all of that has informed and will continue to inform for each of us who we came here, who we are, and who we have come here to be, if we let it in the best ways. And I think the first step in that is really owning that you matter and that everything you've been through matters, even the parts that we want to reject.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely, 100%. Like I've seen, and talking about this with you, with both of you, it's bringing back memories and flashbacks and stuff of the things that I've gone through. But it's one of those things where where is your faith? Is is your faith like do you believe in a
And
higher
God,
being, in
yep,
God?
very much
Yeah.
so. It very much so, absolutely 100%. And that, I don't want to get into religion per se, but yes, absolutely, I believe in God. And that is part of our company too. We don't separate. You to shine. We are very much a God and love centric company as well as a spiritual one, right? Um, and I think higher power and having faith in something higher than you is very important because
Yes.
without it, how do you have hope?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have
Hope
to.
is definitely something that the world needs right now.
Yeah, to me, it's the foundation for hope.
And that's it. You,
Very
you
good.
got to have hope. You got to have desire, and you got to have, belief.
Hmm.
And if you don't have those things working and I can't say in your favor, but if you don't believe in none of that stuff, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
And it's not up to me to tell somebody, hey, you need to believe more, you need to desire more, you need to
No.
do this.
Mm-mm.
No, everybody comes along at their own point in
I
time.
agree.
And all I can do is okay, there's the yellow brick road. You can choose to follow, or you can choose to take the long way. But it's not me to say, okay, go that way.
Hmm.
Everybody to each his own is pretty much is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. But it's I think there's a lot of division going on because there's like for instance, me growing up, I hated rich people. I hated rich people. I was like, hey man, what you doing with all that money? Why you got a 32,000 square foot house and it's only
Hmm.
you and your significant other? You don't have no kids. You got a big old yard. Now I'm living in the projects. I had a lot of hate,
Yeah.
but I've learned that you know either you work for what you want or you work towards what you want.
Hmm.
And I've never got to the point where I said, I don't know where that came from. It was just in me because I had the lack of,
Yeah.
and that mentality that I had, it made me like despise a lot of people. You got a nice fancy car and, you got the latest clothes. And I'm looking at myself and I'm like, what did I do?
Hmm.
You know, but I came into my own when I started growing up and I started seeing or witnessing different things. And then I started to believe I can do this. I started to
Yeah.
desire to want more. And I started to, put two and two together and say, you know what? I can do it just as well as they can do it,
Hmm.
you know?
That's
And
it.
I came self motivated because I didn't have anybody to motivate me. All I
Hmm.
had was people telling me, "No, don't do this, do that instead." And I
Yeah.
wasn't never a free will thinker. But now, you know, you can't tell me the sky ain't blue if it ain't blue. You know,
Hmm.
but you meet a lot of people along the walks of life, and just like we came in contact, and I'm glad we did because you're just like an olive branch that's extended my way that can. I'm already on one of those paths that you're already in,
Hmm.
and I'm looking to move forward to that way. So
Thank you.
thank you for being our guest. Thank you, Bob, for finding her. I appreciate that.
It's a real
Uh,
honor, guys.
yeah,
I love
because
your show. I really do.
this is how the connections work. Because
Hmm.
they always say God works in mysterious ways, but I think you know I can't put it all on God because it's like almost like I sent out an invite and it just came back in the form
Hmm.
of Marla. So thank you.
That is God at work behind the scenes, right?
Yep,
Laying it on
I
thick,
believe.
Lamont.
I
That
believe
My
is,
so.
goodness.
uh,
Hey, well,
that is, yeah.
I try.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
awesome.
want to give you guys, I want to leave you guys with one other thing because I think you'll love it.
Yes.
And for any
Hmm.
listeners that want to take advantage of it, I would love for them to. So one of the things we did is we created a free ebook that has the 50 most limiting beliefs in it that people have that
Hmm.
we've identified working through that with thousands of clients. And you
Hmm.
can download that at mygiftoffer.com. And when you download it,
That
you
link
also are
there.
taken to our website where you grab the free ebook, and then there's a tutorial that teaches you how to use our free me EFT technique to release
Hmm.
each one of those beliefs. It's
Let
very
me get that
cool.
website. Let me get that site again. I'm gonna put it in the Facebook group.
Mygiftoffer.com.
Awesome. Is it
Okay,
just like
That
that?
got it.
that
Yeah.
will take you, yeah, that will take you to the free ebook.
Perfect.
And so we really, really are very proud with that and happy with that.
Okay.
And then when you go into it, it's going to ask you for your email. So of course it will put you into our email database. The first offer that we have available that people will may also look at is we have in there exclusive to that program very affordable money manifesting series. That's
Awesome.
a really cool video training of a
That's
series of videos about how to manifest more in your life. And that's only available through my gift offer. But if anybody who just wants help with releasing some of the limiting beliefs and blocks, it's a phenomenal thing. Our whole team is working through it. I've been through it multiple times. I love it. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
well.
I'm definitely going to be jumping in on that.
Yeah, good deal.
Well, here's the side of the house or the side of the. We almost at the top of the hour. I want to
Mhm.
open up the floor for any questions that anybody might have in the audience. If you have any questions, we're going to open this up for about 5 minutes. Ask Marla
Awesome.
whatever you need to ask. Don't be shy.
Absolutely.
Don't be shy because I'm gonna keep asking
Yeah,
because
go for it.
because I've been a part of this. I've got into the Shambler secret. I stumbled across that. It's a lot of other things, but there was a 15-minute money manifestation that I try, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, this is a load of crap. This is not gonna work. It's, I was like, yeah,
Be more
I do
blunt.
my little,
Yeah.
I do my little 15 minutes every morning now, and
Mhm.
you know what? I started seeing little differences. Now, I'm not saying you know it's set in stone, but you got to believe in certain things, and you have
Yeah.
to be, I want to say you have to do this continuously. So I put it to the test. You know, I didn't set my numbers astronomically high or anything like that. I just said, you know what? I would like to make an extra $300 by this date. Lo and behold, I'm not going to give you a time frame on how long it took,
Mhm.
but it was just a 30-day exercise. On day 15, and Bob
It
can attest to
happened.
that. I didn't tell Bob I was doing this,
Mhm.
but I went to the casino, right? Normally I win 20, $30 here and there, but that's normal.
Mhm.
But this day I went in and I honest it strikes me down right now if he could. 10 minutes, I won €1,000. And I was like,
Wow.
it's like
Yep.
I see what you did. I see what you did. And, but I started to believe, and then the more I did it, it's like a week later, I went back and I said, you know what? I'm gonna try something else. I said, today, I just want to win $300 from the casino. I went down
Amazing.
there. I went down there again. $300. Came back. I was like, you know what? If it's working like this, let me manifest some bigger numbers and let me put a date to it and see if it actually happens. I'm waiting for this big number to come in because I am 15 days in, and I don't want to kill my blessings or anything like that. But I know it's coming.
Yeah, that's
But I know it's
awesome.
and when it comes, you're gonna see me all over Facebook. You'll be like, you know what? If you don't believe in this or you don't believe in this, try this
Yep.
because it works. And if you're sitting on the fence about it, just subtly climb into it. And once you start to have your billboard sized dreams you can't fit on a post-it anymore, then your
Yeah.
life is good, you
Yeah.
know. And I heard that from who was it? I forgot one of our last guests. You can't put your billboard sized dreams on a post-it. And
Hmm.
that stuck with me for a while and I believe in it. So well, I'm all smiles today because I think I'm on track to win some more money today. I'm not sure, but
Best day ever.
best you know what? It is my birthday, so you know what?
That's
Let me try
right.
my luck.
By
Go play
golly.
that luck. Go play that luck.
That's it.
Well, Marla, thank you so very much for hanging out with us today. Really appreciate having you on, and
Yeah.
we will definitely be in touch. I'm actually gonna make it a point to reach out to you and let you know where I'm at with my process
Please do.
with the journaling.
I'm gonna stay on them.
Um,
There you go.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna falter. I'm not gonna falter. I'm gonna do it tonight,
Well, we talk
guaranteed.
every day, so I'm
Amazing.
gonna make sure.
Okay,
You
fine,
know.
whatever. But I'm not gonna show you, but I'm
You
not gonna
got
show
an
you that.
accountability partner now.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
do.
Yep.
I definitely
There's the
do.
football coach.
It's too late. It's too late. X's and
Absolutely.
O's. X's and O's. You know.
But thank you again for coming on board with us and telling
Thank
us
you
more about
guys.
you to shine and everything that you have to offer. We really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I so value
Oh,
you and
wonderful.
you've treated me so well today. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
No
Well, that's
problem.
one. That's because
Truly.
you treat us so well by showing up and gracing us with your presence, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
So we're gonna show you to the back room, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay? Thank you
Sounds
so much.
great.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye bye. So this is
Marta's
awesome,
amazing.
and
Marta's
oh
amazing.
yeah,
I
and
I I,
all of our guests are
I wish she
amazing, and
came
then
like
everybody.
I wish she came pocket size so I can have her with me all the time. Like I need her in my life like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, see, we all need mentors, guides, and coaches, and somebody of that nature. To not do a lot, but just do a little bit to push us in the right direction. And Marla
Yeah.
is that type of person, and
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of that. And I will go to what's that, mygiftoffer.com, because
Oh yeah.
I'm getting the ebook because I'm
Yeah.
into that kind of stuff. And, the sky's the limit. The more I read into it, the more I open up, the more things start to happen. So, you know, let me drop the mic and say, even though it's my birthday today, I think that present is me getting this offer. So that might be my
Yeah.
first offer of the day.
Definitely gonna jump on that. So for those of you out there watching, listening, mygiftoffer.com. Um, I can't wait. As a matter of fact, once we do get it and explore it, we'll talk about it and share what we got. So we will be wrapping this up today. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back on Wednesday as man, wow, it's gonna be episode 14, 14 of
Oh
season two.
wow,
So
already? Jesus
already,
Christ.
already, we got to pump the brakes here. Just to let everybody know, at the end of season two, which will be episode 20, I think we're gonna take a hiatus, 2 weeks maybe.
Can we do
What do you
that?
think? Can we? I think we can. Well,
I think
whatever.
we
We'll
got
put
some
it out there on
pre-recorded
Facebook.
episodes we can throw out.
We'll put it out there on Facebook and see if we should take the 2 weeks or not, and see what they say.
Yeah, put a poll
But
out.
until then, right? I'll put a pin in it. But until then, everybody keep your caps on, keep the conversations flowing, and we'll see you next week Wednesday.
Cool, and we're off Facebook.
Cool. Thanks, guys.